So hypnosis gives you a way to perceive into what we call the fifth dimension. And just to make it simple, length, width, and breadth are the three dimensions that our body can see with our five senses. Length, width, and the breadth, the depth, is what we call three dimensions. Our eyes are only designed to see three dimensions. Physicists use the term or the concept of time as the fourth dimension, as a theoretical concept for the math, and then anything beyond time is the fifth dimension. Now, your viewers are more familiar with the term like the astral plane or all these other dimensions. When people cross into spirit, they go to different dimensions, or people travel to different dimensions. That's the fifth dimension. What's also considered part of the fifth dimension are parallel universes. Now, parallel universes are on the physical plane, not on the astral plane, but just like we have here today. You and I are there. Everybody is out there. Our DNA is exactly the same. The difference are events. So, for example, let's go back in time. In the early 90s, I was doing a radio interview locally, and a producer called me up and he said, "We'd like to talk to you about doing a movie for television on one of your cases." And I said, "Fine." And I was working with him for a while, and nothing really happened. So a friend of mine from the East Coast who had moved out here, synchronistically, contacted me, and he wanted to do this project, and I said, okay. And we get an executive producer who gets CBS television to authorize the treatments, which are the teleplays, the scripts, okay? But they're not filming it. 2 years go by. It's in what they call developmental hell, as they say in Los Angeles, okay? So the writer is panicking, and he says, look, what's going to happen? And I said, okay, I'll fix it. He says, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I'll fix it. So I did my technique. I call this the new you technique, where I laid out the future from the current parallel universe I was on. We call this a frequency, okay? And there are 5 major, what I call frequencies or options out there. They're all separate universes now. And in the one that I was on, in 1993 when I did this, the film would never air. It was never going to be filmed. It was just going to be treatments. It was not going to go anywhere. So I picked one which it was going to air, and I switched tracks.
How do you do that?
Well, through hypnosis. It's a rather complicated technique, but in my book, Custom Design Your Own Destiny,
we can all do that?
Oh yeah, anyone can do it. Now,
so it's auto-hypnosis?
All through hypnosis. Okay, so now what happened was that it wasn't just the movie airing. There were several other events that were in this ideal frequency or path or parallel universe that were to occur over the next few years. So what happened was within about 3 months after doing that, I get a call from CBS, and they said, we want you to come down to publicity. We're going to go with pre-production. We're going to film in about 4 weeks, and we want you to do some promotions for it. And I said, fine. So May 17th, 1994, The Search for Grace was a CBS movie based upon my book of that name, the second book I wrote, and that was a documented case of a reincarnation, of a past life regression.
So that's why you're talking of recustom. I mean, you put custom design your own destiny, but you
see how I have the 5 different parallel universes illustrated on the cover. That's what.
So these are the different options, kind of like it, and then at some point in our lives we choose one path versus
No, actually, people don't. People don't know. They don't know anything about the parallel lives. They just know it's on now, and they just continue on their life right now. For example, people call me and say, "Doctor, I wish I could change the past." Maybe they have a criminal record. Maybe they have an incurable disease. Or maybe they've had something negative happen to them that there's no way in the world they can change, right? Because really you can't change the past. So I said, no problem.
Well, that's what some people say. We can't change the past. I'm sure you disagree with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you really, I mean, if you've lost an arm, okay, you know, you've lost an arm, okay?
Yeah.
So,
but how about in the damage in the soul or in the damage?
But that's different. I'm talking about the physical things.
Physical,
okay? So people have these problems where, you know, they bad marriages, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I said, look, not a problem. Because right now you're only aware of one universe. If you were aware of more than one at one time, therapists would call you schizophrenic because people can't function. No, seriously, you can't function.
Yeah.
People hear voices in their head. That's a parallel universe. Okay, so, and by the way, I'm not the only one who believes that. Fred Alan Wolf, quantum physicist, UCLA professor, and many others. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now, so if you were to lay out these 5 different paths, okay? Now for the physicists out there, there's an infinite number of parallel universes, but there's 5 major groupings. Each grouping has an infinite number, just to keep it simple, okay, or keep it straight. So let's say there's 1 through 5. Let's say you're on frequency 1, but 4 is your ideal one. If you switch over to frequency 4 in the techniques that I document, then guess what? Frequency 1 still goes on. You're just not aware of it. You're now in a different universe. It will look alike. The effect, you know, the environment's going to be the same. but the events are now different. So whatever you had in the past on frequency 1, let's say it was a disease or a relationship, whatever it is, criminal record, whatever is going on, that doesn't exist on the ideal path. So now you're there, you have sort of like a tabula rasa, a blank slate here to a degree, and you have now a different life with things, and you will have no memories. After a while, you will eventually lose all the memories of the previous frequency, and you're just now going to assimilate into that new world, which is the physical plane that we're on right now, except the events are different. In my case, the movie was never aired on the frequency that I was on in 1993. It did air because I switched paths, and it's history. And, so this is how you can take charge of life.
So it's like you change of channel, and then
like
on that one, the vibration is different. Would you say each channel is a different vibration?
Think of it as like you're at home and you're watching an NBC show, okay? And now you switch to CBS or ABC or Fox or whatever, okay? Okay. So the quality of the shows are different. Okay. So now, what happens? Does your box change? No. For example, suppose a lightning bolt came into your home and destroyed your TV set while you were watching a show. Now your neighbor next door is watching the same show. Does anything happen to his signal? No, just your TV set.
Yeah.
Like your physical body would be the analogy of a TV set. So basically, when you switch frequencies, you're switching channels.